Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper and
Adam, the Mr. Vegan Prepper. Mr. the Vegan Prepper?
Just Mr. Vegan Prepper.
Okay, yes, that guy.
All right, yes.
I'm here
to talk to you about, various topics that we find interesting. So we will have everything time-stamped, and so down below in the little bar that tracks the time, you can see the chapters if you're on a device that lets you see that to skip ahead to parts that you're interested in. If you would like to skip things, that is fine. Yeah, guess we'll get right into it. Number one being, I love that Mr. Vegan Prepper said that we should start with this because I think that's genius. You start.
Okay. What happens when people think you're crazy for prepping?
Yeah.
We've gotten some interesting looks about our stashes that are still visible because we're trying to find places to put everything.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, weren't really set up. I mean, not very many houses are set up for long-term preps, but so we have some stuff out still, and we've had some birthday parties this weekend and got some questions about it. Got
some looks. Yeah.
What's up with all the buckets?
Are those all full of food? Yeah. Well, they're not body parts or whatever. I don't know. It's like, what do you think is in there? Oh God.
Yeah, so it's just funny thinking about the last year, and really for us the last year is what got us to finally to start thinking about it. Go, hey, maybe we should be more prepared and
officially.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Take those steps to make some changes. But yeah, everything's been going on with COVID and food shelves being empty. I mean, the first COVID shutdown, I went to Walmart and everything was gone. It was like, I think the only food stuff was like these huge bins of cheese ball things. It's like, well, that's not gonna work. We don't eat those.
Don't they burn well?
They probably
I
do.
feel like I'm remembering this. Anyway, sorry.
Probably. But yeah, just how quickly in a huge city, how quickly the food supply was gone. Mm-hmm. And then you've got stuff like this craziness in Texas where everybody was just caught completely unprepared. And
well, understandably.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of snarky comments in my stalking group that I am in on Facebook. I love following the drama in that stalking group because people just argue about the stupidest things. So one of the things was, you would not believe how many people were like, well, they should have been prepared and they should this and this, they should that, shitting all over everybody, right? And I hate that. And it was just so funny to me. So it's like, really? It's like you the freeways get closed down because of blizzard and ice because the government infrastructure doesn't even have snow plows. Why would they have snow plows in San Antonio? Why? So anyway, I'm from Texas, by the way, so it was watching that was just mind blown, not to mention all that flooding they had in Houston, all the stuff that has been going on. How can anybody think that it's crazy at this point to try to have some food put aside or whatever, because we kind of always have, just because it was smart and it was, almost more of a budget thing to have stuff, when you find a sale, you stock up on what's on sale, so that you have it, at a good price. And stocked up, we've talked, kind of because your income, it's not really a seasonal income, but it's seasonally fluctuating, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so for us, happens in many places in the country, far up north, I think in winter is when people have lower incomes. And so for us, it's summer because that's when all the snowbirds leave. If you're not from Arizona, a snowbird is what we call the people that come to live here, just when it's nice and then leave during summer. So when they leave, though, they take their money with them.
Yep.
And also the industry that Adam is in, people aren't really participating in that industry during summer because it's too flipping hot, So anyway, I always was preparing for summer, getting us stocked up and ready for that time to spend as little money as possible on food. So, you know, so I guess like in a way we kind of always have been preppers, but it's like the COVID thing is really the thing that made it like official. Like we are preppers now, and we are looking at like preparing and getting stuff done, you know. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So just those examples being very normal, real world things that are perfectly reasonable to, you know, be preparing for, stocking up. Yeah, seasonal income, the idea of like a loss of a job, to have stuff on hand. So it's like, it doesn't even have to be like a outer SHTF, you know, stuff hit the fan situation, like a blizzard hitting your town when you've never seen a blizzard before, things like that. It could be a very personal reason that prepping is so smart and reasonable. And the idea that anybody still thinks it's crazy is, that to me, that is crazy.
Yes.
Yes. I guess is my point. Sorry, it was like saying all that. Like, people think it's crazy. How do they think it's crazy still? I guess it's because there are definitely some preppers out there who are crazy. Like total crazy. Just out there. Like there's been a couple comments that I've actually deleted off of this channel because that was like, you're crazy. And I'm not like trying to like censor anybody or anything. And I guess I technically kind of almost did, like, I guess technically kind of censored, but like, I wish I could like.
We're monitoring the content of our channel.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, because part of this is like, I'm wanting to bring prepping awareness to a group of people who maybe have not thought of it before, like, because I feel like, which is mainly like vegans, right? Because I feel like I have a lot of, well, I'm from Texas. I'm in Arizona, which is basically Little Texas, although it's turning into Little California, but it used to be Little Texas. And like, that's kind of what I have, like, kind of like that down home country girl, homesteading, I don't know, kind of homespun, homegrown, what's the word I'm thinking of? Down home, like kind of sensibilities. But like, I'm also vegan, and it's funny, like all that stuff connected, like the canning and the preserving and all, it's just like, you normally see it in people who are raising livestock and hunting, and like, that's fine. I'm not like being mean about those people, but I want to bring this kind of awareness and this idea that you can do all that, like canning and drying and putting up food and preserving and doing all that stuff, but do it in a way that preserves your ethics.
Yeah.
You know, bring awareness to a vegan community. And anybody else who's interested in veganism and prepping.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah.
So yeah.
That's kind of the hope. I think we're crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people who see you doing something that's different from the thing that they have seen before, or the thing that they do, or the thing that they expect you to do, and they'll think it's strange. They'll think, you know, you need to stop being so weird. You're weird. I mean, before we started doing this, we went vegan. So, you know, that, just like Kathy was just saying, Southern girl, down home family. My family was easier. My brother had already gone vegan.
He broke the ice.
Yeah, he broke the ice. So, but I told him he was crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you going vegan for? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, suddenly everybody's a nutritionist and everybody knows everything about everything. And as soon as you tell them you're vegan, anytime you do something different, it seems like there are the critics. So, you know, we went vegan because it's a good thing to do. We started prepping because it's a good thing to do. And, you know, you just have to kind of laugh along with the people that think you're nuts and question your food supply. And then, I don't know, maybe when they need food, when the shelves are all empty, you say, I told you so, and invite them in. I don't know.
I can skip the I told you so. We'll just give it to them.
Maybe they'll learn.
I don't know. Yeah. It's just, anyway, but it's just funny. Yeah. It's like, they think you're crazy. It's like, well, yeah, we're already vegan. People already think we're crazy. It's fine. Whatever. I'm so used to it. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But then like preppers think you're crazy for being vegan. And it's like, so anyway, we just, have all that stuff. I don't know, kind of. And I think it's super important too to be prepping even as a vegan, like especially to be prepping. And then I'm hoping to just, you guys have no idea how much time it takes to make videos and edit them and plan shots, and the way that life is right now with everybody and kids everywhere. My desire is to start bringing content of actually what am I prepping? What is the vegan thing that we are doing? Because yes, I understand that in like a truly long term, like Teotihuacan, the end of the world as we know it kind of scenario, we probably would not be able to maintain our veganism.
Probably not.
Almost certainly not. Like I'm not clueless about the fact that that is probably the likely future. If something crazy like that happened, we would not be able to stay vegan. Almost certainly. So, but if we can prep as much as we can now to like be able to preserve our ethics as much as possible, you know, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I think that's a great thing.
Yep.
It's also so wonderful. So many vegan things lend themselves to really long-term storage, right? Because the main things that you can't store long-term are meats and dairies and things like that, because it's fat. Fat goes rancid. So it's like all of the whole plant foods are the ones that last the longest. They have the longest shelf life. Well, maybe not the whole plant foods. Anyway, that's a whole other video we can get into at some point. But yeah, basically, if people think that you're crazy, awesome.
You must be doing something right.
It's great, right? It's great to be so passionate about something, or to actually have something in your life where you are taking steps that other people see and call crazy. Like that's a beautiful thing. It's rare and wonderful to have something that you're passionate about and that you actually move towards. You know, some people, I don't know. I was going to make fun of people who collect something, but I don't want to like make fun of people because I don't want to like actually make fun of people. You know what I mean? Like some people just like collect little Precious Moments figurines or something, and it's like we're putting up beans, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with Precious Moments collecting if you want. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah. We value different things.
Yeah. Anyway, it's all good.
Yeah. So now our latest focus is due to the blizzard in Texas, which, you know, we live in Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's hot here.
Yeah.
And the idea of prepping for some cold weather event is pretty insane.
Right.
But it was pretty insane to happen in Texas. So
yeah. Unprecedented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are wholly unprepared for any kind of extreme cold weather event. We would be in trouble.
Right.
So
the heaviest thing I have is a hoodie.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a lot of what people in Texas were dealing with too. It's like
you don't need a cold weather jacket when you don't live in some place that has cold weather, you know. It was like, you know, it's wintertime and it's like 75 degrees here.
Yeah, I'm outside sweating.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So but so much of life is learning from other people's mistakes. You know, people were very unprepared, which, you know, it's not like picking on them. They had
other people's misfortunes.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
So
they had no idea.
It was a mistake, I don't think, but yeah.
Yeah, they would have had no reason to prep for that kind of event.
Yeah.
Just like we didn't have a reason to prep for that, but now it's like the idea, like this could actually happen. I mean, it happened there, so it could
happen here.
So, I mean, all winter this year we've had our heater on like 2 days, and that was just so it would be.
Yeah, we turned the AC back on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was like still January, I think, when we turned on the AC again.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's been hot.
Yeah, it's hot here.
So, but with, you know, as unlikely as it is, it's not going to take a lot for us to be prepared for something like that, because we don't need to, you know, go buy a snowplow, but we need to maybe have some extra blankets, some non-electric heat source, because everything in our house is electric. We have no gas, so
But even if we did have gas with a situation like that, like that's what people were dealing with in Texas too. It was like even if they had gas, they didn't have gas because the lines were still frozen, and it was still. Yeah. I'm actually putting together a list, and I want to bring a video to you guys forthcoming, of like I've talked about my stalking group on Facebook, and I monitor the comments, but I have been reading comments like. Some of them were actually very helpful from people up north, like people who actually know what to do in cold and like ideas for how to heat yourself inside if you have no heat, no electricity, and all that stuff. So like kind of survival, cold weather survival stuff that could be applicable in a situation like what happened in Texas. So I'm definitely taking notes and making lists of things that we can do here. But yeah. Yeah, so it is. So basically, I would say, like, you need to have yourself a store of water because people in Texas lost water. Yep. Because when the power went out, they lost water because water is pumped to the house via electricity. And so when the grid went down, they lost their water. And so, and then even the people who still had water, they have no power, but they do have water. And they were told they have to boil all the water because now there's no power, so the water coming into their homes is not treated. And so all this is like you don't have power, you have to boil your water. You have to like, it's like all this stuff. So it's like I would say make sure that you are set on water for your family, safe, drinkable water. Or if you don't have safe, drinkable water, have water and have a means to filter it, like a Berkey system or a similar system. Make sure you have food. And then also make sure that you have the means to cook the food if you have no electricity. Do you have the means to cook that? And so I feel like we are at least set on all of those fronts, at least for a period of time. Yeah. Like, not like months and months, but we would be okay probably for at least, well, it's water-wise.
We're good for water for a while.
Yeah, we'd be good for quite a while, but yeah, we would be better longer with food. The water, we still would need more water. Yeah, it's making me like, oh, I gotta get some more drums. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of what I would say is make absolutely sure that you just kind of have those three basics covered. But yeah, especially the means to cook the food without power. That is so important. So yeah.
That'd be something simple. I mean, a little camp propane stove. Anything little, something you can cook on outside with firewood. Right.
Outside. Basic fire safety. Right. There were people, and that's the saddest thing, like reading of people dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because we just are as a society. And this too is like, how can people think that you're crazy for wanting to know these? There are people who were literally dying because they didn't realize that using their car in their garage to heat was not safe. Like being so far removed from basic survival knowledge that you just make a goof like that kills you, So yeah, it's just so important to be knowledgeable, And I see like a lot of people in my stalking group. Oh man, these ladies. Gosh. Maybe occasionally a guy, mostly women. Anyway, but yeah, like just so snarky about all kinds of stuff. Basically almost calling people stupid. And it's like, if you don't know, if you were never taught, why would you know that? If you were never taught how to survive extreme cold weather conditions, why would you know what to do or how to do it? Why would you know that? Anyway. Yeah. I get mad. When people are being mean to people, I get really mad. So yeah.
Yeah, regardless of where we're living, we should have something in place for unusual eventualities.
Right.
Floods. I mean, I don't know why we would end up with a flood, but are we prepared for
because
a flood?
They keep blowing over the desert. So you get one good rain and boom, wipes everything out. My gosh. Because the topsoil of the desert is precious. It is precious. It's a sponge. The water goes and it goes into the water, into the ground, right? Which is where it's supposed to go. That's the way the desert is supposed to be. but they keep bowling over the desert. And so now when rain happens, you have flooding down washes and just incredible flooding because there's no place for the water to go anymore. It just runs right off because that topsoil gets destroyed. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so flooding is actually a possibility.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
It's a tough one to prep for, honestly. Water is such a destructive force.
Right. Well, it's like we were just saying with the buckets. Like we were actually just talking about that.
Yeah.
You know, like that. So that's a really great reason to have all your food like in your either in Mylar bags and buckets or in buckets that are like watertight, airtight, whatever. So then if you did end up with like 3 inches of water on your floor, you know, everything would be gone. But if you have now, of course, if it ended up, you know, we just lose stuff. Like it just would be gone. So
yeah.
I don't know, but you know, yeah, we wouldn't be staying anyway.
Right.
If water like went up in our house, then we'd have to leave, you know. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So one thing I'm gonna take a few minutes to do is just teach everyone in the house how to shut the water off at the house, and because people were having pipes burst, and it is pretty simple to shut your water off, and it should be accessible if you own a house. It should be accessible to shut your water off, and just to drain the pipes and shut your hot water heater off. I mean, if you don't have electricity, that's not too big of a deal, but shut the breaker off, because if the water heater doesn't have water in it, there's a chance of fire. So, so I'm going to take a few minutes and just make sure everyone in the house who's capable of doing so to shut the water off. I mean, that's good for just if the valve blows off the toilet or something and water's spraying everywhere, shut the water off to the house. So it's not like I'm not home and I come back home to 2 feet of water because nobody else knew how to shut the water off. So,
yeah, that's just funny because again, in the stocking group, people criticizing you should have turned off the water and drained the pipes. And it was so funny. So it's totally admitting, like, and I know I'm probably going to look stupid, but again, I was raised in Texas and Arizona. So I'm like from Corpus Christi in Houston to Phoenix. Okay. So turning off water and draining pipes to prepare for freezing weather is not even in my lexicon of knowledge. Like, you know, but like he lived up north, luckily, you know, like with some snow. And so like, you know, some things about cold weather stuff. And it was just so funny reading all that. I was like, really? What? Turn off water, drain pipes? What? How do you even drain pipes? And I told Adam, like, how do you drain the pipes? Like, it sounds like so mysterious and hard. And you just like turn everything on and let it just like run out. And it's like, oh, like, it's so easy. But like, it isn't even in my realm of knowledge, you know? Now, do you know how to survive rattlesnakes or tornadoes? Or do you like there's all kinds of stuff that I know that a lot of people from up north don't know, you know, but goodness, like, yeah, anyway. Crocodiles? You know how to find a crocodile in a bayou? Or an alligator? Crap, I don't remember which is which. I don't remember which one we had in Texas, but yeah.
Crocodiles, I think.
Crocodiles, yeah. I used to play by the bayou, and I knew how to look for water moccasins and all, you know what I mean? So like there's stuff that I know that a lot of people don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, if we haven't said it before, and we'll say it now, knowledge is your best prep.
Right.
So, you know, even if you don't have the ability to set aside everything you need, just get knowledge, you know, read a few books, learn about your house, learn about survival, learn about how to do things in different ways. So...
yeah, I would say like just learning now, because now it's making me think just basic survival knowledge in like almost any environment, right? Because you never know what you're gonna end up with, right? So anyway, like I do know a piece too, like one of my tiny pieces of like cold weather knowledge. I know because I was reading the blog of a Canadian author I really like, and she was talking about being out, like super out in the woods, the boonies of like Canada. So this is like really the boonies. And it was winter, and she would, in the snow, she'd go for a walk, but she knew like based on survival. So you're following the tracks. So she'd find deer tracks and like walk in the deer tracks, like when she'd go for her walks or whatever, for her exercise, because the deer know where everything is. And there was a moment when she actually ended up, even though she was following the tracks, she didn't recognize the fact that the deer had done a little jump. And when she looked back later, she realized, wait, there was a break in the tracks that she didn't realize. And so she fell into like a little crevasse or whatever, but she said it was just growing up Canadian and knowing all of the basic survival. That was the only thing that saved her, because the second she started to fall, she just bent forward. That's what they're taught to do, is like you bend forward to stop, like to give yourself a bend to stop yourself falling, like through ice or whatever. So I have that in my head now. So it's just, anyway, silly little things like, anyway, sorry, it's just like a silly example, but like, well, maybe not silly if it saves your life.
Start falling through ice. Bend forward.
Bend. Immediately bend. You know, just like make it reflexive. If you fall, bend. This is just really interesting. That's what saved her. So she ended up catching, and then she realized that there was like 4 and then 4. And then like the walking continued. Like she just didn't register that there was like a little jump. Not a big deal. But yeah, there's like certain basic things that people just don't know. And if you don't know, yeah, you can be hurt by that. So anyway. So it's good to know. Is that basically it?
I think so.
Okay. Well, cool. So you don't have anything else you want to say?
No, I think so.
This is your last chance.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found that useful at all. Thank you just for being here with us and supporting our channel. So I guess we're going to go ahead and sign off. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thanks so much for watching. No, it's just funny. Oh gosh. So I had a makeup mishap. I started laughing and crying, and then something I'm wearing irritated my eyes, and now I'm like straight up. Like, and then I'm over here, you know, with the feeling of sunscreen in my eyes, and he's just like starting to snack.
I had this real problem that I realized I didn't have any dried mango in my mouth. So
This is an issue. You're trying to make me laugh again? You're trying to start it again? Okay, all right, let's just stop. Ugh.